For a split second, nobody understood what they were seeing. Her sister stepped out first, calm, composed. Then 2 nurses followed behind her, and in their arms, 3 identical babies. The entire garden went silent. Not normal silence, the kind that drains sound out of the air. Just seconds ago, they were laughing at her, calling her barren, calling her a mistake. Now, they couldn't even blink. She didn't look at them, she looked at him, because the man who once called her nothing had just stopped becoming a man. The silence that filled that garden was heavier than their laughter ever was, because laughter fades, but shame lingers. Just moments ago, they weren't just laughing at her, they were studying her. They knew she had failed, and they made the right choice by replacing her with another woman. And she remembered the names they called her: barren, wicked wife, wrong woman, and unimaginable names. And the worst part, nobody corrected them, not even her ex-husband. They were wondering how she got there. Let us take you back to the day they invited her. Before this big moment, there was silence in her life too. Not peace, silence of being forgotten. It started with a gold-trimmed invitation, a naming ceremony for the twins her ex-husband called his miracle. But she knew what it really was: a stage, a performance, a carefully designed humiliation. Her mother-in-law wrote it herself. "Maya," it said, "come and see what a real woman looks like." She wasn't invited to attend, she was invited to break. After the divorce, Maya became their story. Not a great woman anymore. From luxury SUVs to a yellow Lagos taxi. From Mrs. Undubisi to the barren driver. They laughed every time they saw her. But what they didn't see was her phone, her calls, her calculations. While they celebrated her downfall, she was learning about the city and building something they couldn't see, because in Lagos, whoever controls movements controls everything. While they laughed at her driving a yellow taxi, Maya was studying everything. Every road in Lagos became a map of behavior: who moves, when, and why. She wasn't surviving the city, she was decoding it. One taxi became 10, then hundreds. But she didn't build a fleet, she built control. Hospitals at night, airports at dawn, markets in chaos. Every pattern became profitable. By the time they invited her to be humiliated, she already controlled movement across multiple cities. They thought she had fallen. They were right. She had disappeared into power. The estate gates opened like a performance stage. Red carpet, luxury cars, music, and guests dressed like royalty. Then a yellow taxi rode in. Laughter erupted instantly. She actually came, they whispered. The barren driver. Maya stepped out slowly, no reaction. Her ex-husband appeared in a perfect suit, smiling like she was irrelevant. "Maya, I didn't think you'd show up," he said loudly, "but I am glad you are here to see real happiness." The crowd laughed with him. She said nothing, because silence is what people hear just before they lose control. The mother-in-law stepped forward like a judge, addressing a case she had already won. "This is what failure looks like." The crowd responded with laughter, as if it were scripted. Her ex-husband stood beside his new wife, both performing success for an audience that needed it to be real. Maya didn't move, she didn't react, because she wasn't part of their performance. She was observing the stage they built for themselves. And the most dangerous thing in any room is a person who stops reacting. Whispers followed her. Barren, taxi woman. She lost everything. Maya heard every word, but none of them reached her anymore. That version of her was already gone. Her ex avoided her eyes, but his confidence was weakening. His new wife tightened her grip on him, sensing something she couldn't name. The laughter started to sound forced, uneasy, because when control begins to shift, people feel it before they understand it. She didn't need to speak yet. The room was already beginning to doubt its own story. Maya turned away and walked slowly toward the taxi. Every step changed the energy behind her. The laughter faded into confusion. The insult lost rhythm. She reached the door and placed her hand on it. Behind her, the entire estate waited for her reaction. They thought she was about to break, but she was timing the moment everything would collapse. Maya opened the taxi door slowly. Her sister stepped out first, calm and composed. Then 2 nurses followed, carrying 3 identical babies. The garden froze instantly. A glass dropped, but no one reacted. Her ex-husband laughed once, nervously, then stopped completely. His mother whispered, "That's not possible." But nobody answered because reality had already shifted. They expected humiliation. Instead, they were facing something they could not rewrite. And at that moment, every lie they believed about her started breaking at once. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Even the hair felt locked. Her ex-husband's smile disappeared entirely. His confidence couldn't survive what his eyes were seeing. His mother looked lost for the first time. Maya didn't speak yet. She let the silence grow heavier on purpose, because controlled silence becomes pressure, and pressure reveals truth faster than words ever could. Her ex-husband finally spoke, but his voice shook. "This is a setup," he said, forcing a laugh no one joined. Maya looked at him calmly. "Meet them," she said. Her voice was steady, deliberate. "These are what you said I could never have." The words didn't shout, they landed. His expression changed immediately. His mother stepped back slightly. His new wife stopped pretending to smile. For the first time, Maya wasn't reacting to their world. Their world was reacting to her, and they didn't know how to survive it. His mother finally asked, "Whose children are these?" Maya didn't answer immediately. She let it hang in the air until it became uncomfortable for everyone. Then she said, "You called me barren for years, but you never asked what I was building while you were talking." The guests shifted uncomfortably because truth doesn't need volume. It only needs timing, and hers had been delayed long enough to arrive with impact instead of explanation. Her ex-husband's brother avoided eye contact. Guilt was now visible across his face. Her ex finally looked at her differently, not as a wife, but as something he never understood. The laughter was gone. The ceremony had stopped feeling like a celebration and started feeling like exposure. Maya stepped forward slightly. "You didn't lose me," she said calmly. "You misunderstood me." She dismantled their confidence quietly, because the most dangerous truth isn't shouted, it's realized too late to undo. Maya placed a folder on the table. "This estate, your new business, this entire life," she said, "was partly financed by me." Her ex frowned, confused. She opened the documents slowly. "The investor you called a miracle wasn't a stranger," she continued. "It was me." The room shifted instantly. Confusion turned into fear. His confidence cracked in real time. She wasn't raising her voice. She didn't need to, because proof doesn't argue, it replaces belief. And in that moment, everything he thought he owned became questionable. The mother-in-law stepped back in silence. The ex-husband scanned the documents, his hands trembling. "No," he whispered, but denial had no weight anymore. The guests stopped whispering. Nobody smiled. The ceremony had already ended. No announcement was needed. Maya looked at them calmly. "You didn't build anything," she said. "You only managed what I made possible." She didn't insult them. She destroyed their foundation. And for the first time, they realized they were never in control of their lives. Maya closed the folder gently. "I respected and loved you so much, but you were never above me." The words settled into silence. No one responded. There was nothing left to defend. Every illusion had already collapsed under truth. Her ex-husband stood frozen, unable to process it. His mother looked away for the first time, because when truth enters the space fully, pride stops speaking. And in that moment, silence belonged entirely to them, not her. Maya turned and walked back to the taxi. No rush, no emotion. No one stopped her because they couldn't. She opened the door, sat inside and placed her children beside her. The engine started softly. She looked back at the estate one final time. Not with anger, but clarity. She wasn't leaving them behind. She was leaving behind the version of her they created. As the taxi moved forward, Maya wasn't escaping her past anymore. She was finally driving into everything she had already become. Before she left, she requested for a microphone and calmly said, "Those kids are not yours. Ask your wife who their father is. You are infertile." The guests looked at each other. Her ex-mother-in-law's face was dripping with sweat, and the new wife stared into space. If you are being humiliated, remember that your reaction is the fuel for the bully. Silence isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you are no longer playing the game they designed. But sometimes you have to fight back in better ways than the bully. A fall is often just a change in perspective. Maya didn't lose her status. She traded a visible, fragile status for an invisible, unbreakable power. But in the end, she succeeded big time and shot the critics.